Hey, wow. Good afternoon. This will be the only slide I show, so get a good look, that's it. Hey, that's my name right there, and that's a picture of my face. Hey, I'm closing Keynote, so I'll try and keep it short because I know we want to get to raffles and get the day moving, but that's sign language for mind blown. I am mind blown by the concept of today. That math and mindfulness came together today in a conference. I guess I didn't realize how powerful it was going to be until I watched some of your sessions today. The fact that that which could create some anxiety and the antidote to anxiety came together. It was like peanut butter and chocolate today. So I just want to give it up to all the presenters, to our keynote speaker from this morning, Eddie Campos, and to Marie, Chris, and Carol Pryor for putting this show on. Great job, everybody. This is awesome. Hey, a quick check up from the neck up, just me checking on you. Raise your hand if you got at least one low-hanging fruit, one skill, one resource, one nugget that you could use on Monday morning in your classroom. I got one hand, you got two hands, if you have three, you hold them up. Yeah, bring them back down. Raise your hand if maybe you feel like you just took a sip of water from a fire hose and your hair is blowing back and your eyeballs are like, I got so many resources, I don't know what to do on Monday. Okay, that's some of us, right? It's real. I do a lot of conference going tos and a lot of presentation watching, and it's not exposure to new ideas that I think is the big aha. Exposure to new ideas, we come here, there's so many great new ideas in each one of these presentations today, but it's not the exposure to new ideas that blows my mind, it's those of you who can actually put them to action in the classroom the next week. Eddie Campbell said, everybody's got to get on Twitter. The truth is, if I jump on Twitter in 30 seconds, if I look up Eddie Campbell's, I can see 15 things that I didn't know 5 minutes ago. I can get exposure to new ideas right there on Twitter. It's not just the exposure to the new idea, it's putting it to action. So that's kind of what I want to talk about quickly today. I got 10 minutes and then we'll do some raffling. My dad, I grew up in the Silicon Valley in the 1970s and 80s. My dad was an engineer type. He's like my hero. My dad has the worst handwriting of any person I've ever known. He writes in all capital letters, they're evenly spaced, the A kind of looks like an E, you can't really tell what he's writing, but they're perfectly spaced, all the same. It looks like a typewriter that was built in a foreign language. His handwriting is awful. And he spent my whole childhood writing in graph paper. This is pre-Excel, right? It's the 70s. So he had these little composition books all over the house where he wrote neat little columns and neat little rows, and each letter fit inside of a little graph paper box, a little box, and a little space in between each word, and it was totally perfectly aligned and illegible. It was an awful hand. If my dad wrote it, I knew he wrote it. There was no him passing it off as somebody else's handwriting. I once got an IOU from the Tooth Fairy, and I was like, there is no Tooth Fairy. My dad wrote it. I cashed it in still, to be honest. I put it back and got the money. But it was clearly my dad's handwriting. But I was lucky to have my dad in my life because early in those formative years when I was going to school, my family, like many families, went through that period of time where the parents were focused on parent stuff and nobody was really focused on the kid because they were doing their stuff. So me and my brother had a couple of 3 years there. There was nobody in charge. It was awesome. We were out in the street playing tennis racket, baseball till all hours of the evening, breaking windows at will and blaming it on somebody else. We were riding huffy bicycles down hills that we shouldn't have been. We built blanket forts in the living room that lasted way too long for anybody to ever think, well, that's a responsible household. It was awesome. No pity looking. It was great. It was just that time in life where my brother and I were kind of running our show. My parents were getting their act together, and during those years, my brother and I weren't really holding each other accountable to homework, right? So I might have fallen a little bit behind in some of my math work and some of my homework. And I knew that when I got to the point of schooling where I'd sit in a math lesson and the teacher would be talking and it sounded a little bit like a person speaking on a microphone with a bad set of batteries, right? I'd get in math class and the teacher would be like, okay, today we're going to, the new by the meter, and then you have to, and then just draw a box around that when you're done, that'll be the answer. And I was like, I'll take the zero. Because I was polite, I wasn't I don't understand you. I'll just sit here quietly. And I went home, and I was super lucky to have my dad. My dad was 25 years ahead of Carol Dweck on the growth mindset piece. My dad was like, so you don't know how to do your homework? Well, that's fine. You know how to do something, right? Let's just back up. My dad backed up and said, okay, you know how to do this? We'll start here. And he started working our way forward. And what my dad did for me in that formative years was make me realize that it didn't matter if you couldn't do what you couldn't do, you only couldn't do it yet. And so that's, when I reflect back, I realized my dad had written a yellow Post-it note on the refrigerator door that maybe is one of the most powerful lessons he ever taught me. And that refrigerator Post-it note aligns to the work that he taught me here, and it was this. I was kind of a chubby kid, so he puts it on the refrigerator door, it's gonna stick, you know what I mean? I was like, okay, yeah, right? My dad put this note on the refrigerator door. I could see it in my mind's eye right now, and I don't know where he got this phrase from, probably from some self-help book of how to raise crazy children. But he wrote in his horrible handwriting, the universe rewards action. And my dad was all about this. The universe rewards action. It doesn't matter if you can or can't do your homework. You can do something. Let's find something you can do. Take action, and that action step will lead you in the direction that you're supposed to be going. And I learned that at an early age from my dad. Now, fast forward about 30 years, and I realize now, maybe 40 years, okay, I realize now that my dad was all about the growth mindset presented by Carol Dweck, right? Carol Dweck said we have students who have a fixed mindset and who believe that they can't achieve because they can't. We have growth mindset students who believe they can't achieve because they can't achieve yet. And that these students here believe that the word yet is a pathway to the future, and that's what we want our kids to believe. The reason I bring that up is because when I became a high school principal of a large urban high school about 13 years ago, it was a rough gig. It was a new gig for me. Big urban high school here in Sacramento, kids over here wearing red, kids over here wearing blue. Those weren't the school colors, right? It was a rough joint, right? And a mentor of mine said, hey, John, if you want to lead that school in the direction of change, it's about more than just exposure to new ideas. It's about giving people the resource and the time to create action. My mentor told me that if you want to make change, if you want to go from where you are to where you want to be, you need 3 things. You may have heard me say this before, but I'll say it again. I love it. My mentor told me you need 3 things to make change effectively. He says, first, you need to have a desired state. You need to have a place where you want to be, a place you want to go, a place you want to grow. Something you saw today in a session, you may have been in a Desmos session, be like, man, I want to have a classroom filled with Chromebooks, have the kids rocking Desmos. You saw something today, and it is your guiding light right now. It is your desired state. It's something you want to implement in your classroom. That's number 1. You need to have a desired state. Number 2, you need to have a current reality. It's like a checkup from the neck up from yourself. You have to be honest with yourself. If your desired state is, I want to have a classroom that's rocking Desmos on some Chromebooks, that's my desired state. What's your current reality? What's a Chromebook? How's it work? If that's your current reality, that's okay. All you need is the 3rd thing, and that's a rubber band. My mentor said you need to have a desired state, you need to have a current reality, and you're armed with a rubber band. And rubber band represents action. It says all you need to do is stretch in the direction of your desired state. And the rubber band is like change itself. The rubber band, when you feel the tension, you know it's working. That's when it's doing its job. And when you feel tension, that's when change is happening. And if you want to go from a current reality of what's a Chromebook to a desired state of rocking it in the classroom, there's going to be some tension. And here's the game here. You may have been exposed to some great new ideas that's inspired you to where you want to be. And you may be over here, far away from that. All you've got is a rubber band. And only you can tell how far that rubber band can stretch. You may have been to a PD before where someone said, hey, I know what your current reality is. That's our desired state. Go ahead and just stretch like this. You ever been in that PD before? Rubber band snaps. You hurt your hands. You're like, hey, I'm going to go back to the old worksheet. This thing's been working for me for 20 years. We'll just do that. Nobody else can stretch your rubber band. Nobody else can tell you how far to stretch at a time. So if you want to make change in your own professional practice or in your own life, it is about knowing that the desired state is your guiding light, your current reality is real, and you're in charge of your rubber band. That you stretch that rubber band as far as you can stretch, and when you feel the tension, you know that change is happening, and then your job is just to hold on. Try one strategy, one little practice, one little tweak to your instructional design. Try something new that points in the direction of that desired state and hold on tight. And let the tension do its work. Because eventually, what will happen is that tension will give. You'll start to move in that direction. Because this new change will become habit. And as soon as it gives, try the next action. And when that thing gives, try the next. And before you know it, you'll be moving toward your desired state. The idea, or the metaphor, the analogy is that you are where you are, you have a desired state, but you can't go there in one big step. And you're in charge of how far you can stretch. Now, some of you have amazing growth mindsets. You have like this big, crazy, elastic rubber band, you're like, hey, stretch, check it out. And it, like, for you, it's no big deal. But for some of us, we got small little rubber bands that can't stretch. Remember those braces rubber bands you had? Like some of us are like, oh, that's it. That's all the change I can make. This is too tough. I'm hanging on. You're like, that's fine. Just stretch and then stretch and then stretch, right? That's fine. If you know your capacity and you know how far you can stretch and you can manage your own tension, that'll move you in your direction. But don't let anybody else tell you how far you can stretch. You're in charge of the desired state. You're in charge of how far to stretch that rubber band. But the key is this. You got exposed to some great stuff out there today. It gave you a guiding light, a desired state, and a place you want to go to. You know your current reality. The universe rewards action. So it's on you, Monday morning, to make that first stretch. You don't have to go all the way to where that presenter was today. You just have to make your first step. Try one strategy, one technique, one tool today. Make that Monday. You can have today off. Try one thing on Monday. Try it again on Tuesday. Rinse and repeat. By next Thursday, you might be here. And in 3 months, you might be here. And a year from today, you'll be back here presenting, inspiring others to create a new desired state. So what I wish upon you is that you take some inspiration from a presentation today, you create a desired state, you grab a rubber band, and you start stretching in that direction. The universe rewards action. Thank you for being here today. I hope you win the raffle.